Kia ora, g'day. Welcome back once again here with part 2 of my reaction to Mr. Tim Kennedy. I presume coming clean with regards to previous comments and things that he's made on other podcasts. So let's jump back in.
But let's get back to, like, there's still, again, like, but you also spent a lot of time in what I believe was kinetic situations overseas in very dangerous areas.
Yeah, now
true or false?
Now we're absolutely true, I mean, but we're skirting on what we can't. I
know, but I kept saying to you,
was it? But we're skirting on what we can't or can't. Is he talking about we're skirting on what they can't talk about? Like, I'm just waiting for Tim Kennedy. Apparently, this is about him coming clean, isn't it? Tim Kennedy addresses every single claim. So,
like, is there any way to?
I don't think so. I mean, if I can help people, if I get to work with the greatest guys in the world and go to places that matter, I'm there for the mission and I'm there for the guys.
I know, but I understand. My frustration in that was there has to be a way there are certain people who are very critical of you.
Yeah.
And I get it.
When you're in the public eye, and that's something
we'll get to what their complaint. Well, I want to be respectful of.
Yeah, I just want you to get to what it is, the points and whatever it is that he's addressing. So it says addresses every single claim. So get to the claim and then let him address it.
Certain Green Berets, Delta guys, I can't remember some of their names, but these guys who've seen a lot of combat. They had specific allegations that I think is important to address out of respect for them and their service, and out of respect for anybody who served. And I want to not skirt that. My thing is that I kept saying to you, because again, I know the people that you worked with, like, how is it that certain people don't know that you were in those kinetic situations for a long period of time?
What?
We have to be so delicate here, right?
Yeah. I mean,
this is so, because I can't say anything.
Active duty transition to National Guard. Try to be the best soldier I can possibly be. When you're in the National Guard, you are a part-time person, which means you have a full-time.
Okay. So that it sounds like I was right in my assumption. And talking about it sounds like maybe it's a TF or reservist type role, part-time. I think he's just literally about to say it's a part-time role. Let me just go back a bit.
Possibly be, when you're in the National Guard, you are a part-time person, which means you have a full-time job. My full-time job was fighting and then going overseas for different organizations that I worked for.
Okay, but hold it. I know that's different organizations that you worked for.
Yeah. So like that explains.
Some organizations were not humanitarian.
Some were not.
Some were. But some were.
Some humanitarian missions were.
Can I say this much?
In conflict areas.
We can edit this if we have to. Can I say this much?
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to just say this. There were a number of times you went overseas, not with Green Berets, where your activities were not humanitarian. They were not for publicity. They were in a kinetic capacity. They were where you were in a combat capacity.
Absolutely true.
Is that true?
That's probably been.
And by the way, that's been up until rather recently.
75% of my work.
75% of your work.
Yeah.
So, okay. I just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah. And then some of them.
And I kept saying to you, Tim, I was like, is there a way to get the people that are very critical? Is there a way to, how do they not know that part of?
Well, if they don't, like, it sounds real vague. Like, who are these? Well, I suppose was he working for a spy agency, or what's the agencies and organizations out there? Those words get thrown around. Maybe it's true. Maybe he's doing a whole bunch of, what did he say? 75% of missions that are off the books that sound like they're direct action tasks. Sounds like they are target packs, mission sets in regards to, when he's saying kinetic, like Are they special recovery operations? Are they rescue operations whereby you got to go loud? Potentially, you got to take bad actors off the board. Whatever the case might be, it lends itself, the way that this has been discussed, and or the guys trying to describe it, Brian, to Tim Kennedy, who again isn't giving much, potentially because of the sensitive nature of these missions that he's going on or that he's been on. 75% of them. I don't know that this is addressing the claims to a degree that's ever going to satisfy anyone, particularly those that have been vocal and critical of Tim Kennedy. That's just my take anyway. I think if anything, he's just opening himself up for potentially more investigation to be done by these same people to find out, okay, who are the organizations that he's working for? We don't need to name them. What sort of jobs are you using? We won't disclose the exact details. Are those offensive combat type roles? Are they highly kinetic in terms of kicking in doors and grabbing people and snatching people and, whatever the case might be? Like, is it 75% of those jobs? I can't help but think that he's potentially opening himself up to more scrutiny, which thereby we then end up coming back to having something like the bloody Liver King taking place.
The story. Do they not know that part of the story? Because they seem to be guys some of these guys are tier 1 guys. They've got everybody's friends with everybody. Or maybe they're not.
Probably, maybe they're not.
Okay.
And I
don't know, man.
I've been very, very, very intentional, and I will not. I think like the veteran hate on hate thing is a travesty, and I haven't participated in it whatsoever, and I'm going to totally stay out of it. And the guys that, were being critical of me, they have every right to be, and some of their criticisms were founded in mistakes, overstatements, inaccuracies, fog of war.
Holy heck. Mistakes, overstatements, inaccuracies, fog of war. It's a whole bunch of sounds like political type jargon and speech being used there. That's what it sounds like to me. But man, like the words that he's using when he's talking about the veteran hate on hate speech, I don't know if it's hate or jealousy. I don't think it is. Like some of the ones that I've watched and seen, they seem like men that have got a whole bunch of combat military experience that can seem to have an eye and an ear for being able to sift through what's BS and what's been fabricated or blinking, what's the word I'm looking for? Things that have been fabricated or blinking just sort of blowing up out of proportion. That's not the word I was looking for, or the words I was looking for, but it's what comes to my head now in terms of people exaggerating potential service and things that they've done and or not done. And I don't think that's hate. I think that's, guys that value very deeply what the military has given to them and the sacrifices that have been made by other people and the jobs and works that people have done in those spaces. And they want, they're not out there trying to have those reputations and the portrayal of the military in a light in which those things just didn't happen. Like I'm interested to see if and when and him talk about unliving, I think was the term that he used, killing women and children. So I'd love to hear him talk about that, because I don't know how you end up getting to that stage, being in a fog of war, overstatements or inaccuracies, if it's not just a blatant, flat out, I'm going to lie about this and make up this entire story. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Me viewing my life through rose-colored lenses, like all of the things, especially like when you're at the top, and you're writing a book and it's super exciting and you're carried away with the moment and absolutely telling big fish stories.
Okay. Let's talk about that. So there were some fish stories told.
Oh yeah.
And I can just see people going, call it what it is, lies, embellishments, exaggerations. All right.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay. So that's a big admission.
Yeah.
Then, and I think it's really,
so drill down into those, I guess, is what I'm waiting for. The big fish stories, the embellishments, the lies.
important to at least like dilate on that, because if that's the case, then whatever the price you're paying is worth it. Like you kind of deserve it.
Yes.
Okay. Because you don't get away with anything in life at the end of the day. You know, we get carried away, and we have a tendency when everything's working out for us to think we're one of God's favorites. This is where God chin checks you. I mean, I'm as I get older, I become more of a religious man.
And you experience that pretty.
You get chin checked. The minute you start thinking that you're.
As I get older, I become less religious.
You're the guy. God goes, excuse me, are you thinking that you're the responsible for all your success here? Oh, you're your own God.
Take you down a notch.
That, you get caught. That's it. And you should.
Yeah, enough of the chin checks and talking about God and stuff. I just want to hear what specific claims and embellishments, lies were the big fish stories. Like, just get to that piece.
Good. And that's a really big and important thing to dilate on here, because I've got just some of the questions, and I think, again, this is.
You have a list?
Yeah. The bronze.
There should be a list.
Star with Valor device.
Yep.
And you falsely claimed or implied in the 2017 interview that you received the Bronze Star Medal with V for Valor, a device for combat heroism, when official records show you received the Bronze Star without it for meritorious leadership and service. Now, I want to talk about that.
Okay.
One of the things.
That's still awesome, right? A Bronze Star for meritorious leadership without the V device or whatever for Valor. Like, if that's true, Bronze Star for leadership, if I heard correctly, why try to add more to that awesome award, whatever it is, the Bronze Star, to try to make it sound like, or add something to it that you didn't receive? Like, anyway, that
I saw, one of the things that I also remember several times, I think somebody on your team kind of put some clips together.
Yeah, we never put it out.
I don't know why you don't put it out.
I think it's lame.
But dude, so one of the things
I stepped on my crank.
Over and over again, I saw a compilation of you in interviews, big interviews, Fox, all that, where they said he won a Bronze Star with V for Valor, and you would say, I want to correct the record, I never got a V for Valor.
Yep.
You said that.
I don't know how many times, 100,000 times.
It was literally that much.
Yes.
Okay, so. But I don't know why you don't put that out there. Again, you're the worst with this.
I know, but I also I put my.
Is that because he had already said that he had multiple times before? Like, when did the videos of what this guy Brian is talking about, and it's cool, he's a friend, he's a supporter. If there are hundreds of thousands of times of this video footage where Tim Kennedy has corrected Fox News commentators and any other people that have said you received the Bronze Star with V device or whatever, and he's gone, I want to correct the record, I didn't receive that. That's not lame to be putting that out if people are coming after you saying that you've said you got these awards and that you didn't correct it or whatever. Like, when did that start happening? So anyway.
Foot in my mouth in a 2017 interview.
It sounded like you were distracted.
I was on a phone call.
What was this podcast you did it on?
I don't know.
Right. I know you're the worst.
This is 10 years ago.
Yeah,
10 years ago, a dude asked me a question while I'm on the phone, and he's like, "Hey, so you have a Bronze Star with Valor?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then we moved on with the interview.
And blah blah blah. Yeah.
And that
one thing.
That one thing is an absolute mistake. I mean, a great example is I'm on the Lance Armstrong's podcast, and
I'm just wondering, I'm sure the guys like the Brent Tuckers of the world, maybe they've put it behind them now and they're not really interested anymore. But what's his name? Nate from Valhalla VFT, I think it is. Anyway, people will know who I'm talking about. Big channels, big on the scene. They're known for calling out people that have looked to lie about their military service and stuff, and they've both spoken about Tim Kennedy. I don't want to say gone after Tim Kennedy. I think they've looked to try to get clarity on what has been said and shared. And so I'm not really hearing Tim Kennedy come clean the way that I thought this thing was going to go, with him addressing claims and things that have been said. His mate is obviously a mate, very supportive of him, which is cool. Is in his corner saying there's all this stuff been put out about where you've corrected this, that, at least 100,000 times or whatever. At least in this interview, I haven't seen that. Mind you, I haven't gone hunting or looking for it either. But where I'm going with this is that I can't help but think this interview is just going to potentially cause Brent Tucker and people like Nate from Valhalla, VFT, sorry, I can't remember the name of his channel properly. I think that's the name of his channel on YouTube, to do more digging, to look for these supposed clips whereby Tim Kennedy corrects the Bronze Star with V device for Valor, etc. So we'll see.
I'm trying to like use Lance Armstrong's vernacular, and I'm like, man, gun control is, you know, like all forms of gun laws are good gun laws. All gun laws are gun control. So gun control can be good because there are some good gun laws. And then everybody's like, Tim Kennedy's for gun control. Like, did I mean to say that? No.
When you do enough talking and podcasting, you're going to get bodied because you're going to say and I don't know anybody who escapes it. I don't know anybody who escapes the public car wash that you've got to stand still for when you're at the top of your game. You are basically a politician. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, again, I would implore you, to release that compilation of hundreds of times you said, I want to correct the record. I'll just be like, I never won a V for Valor.
I took my foot and I put it in my mouth in like, I think 1 or 2 interviews where they were asking a question.
Why did you do that?
I don't know if I was paying attention. I don't know if I was absolutely carried away.
But it's so weird, Tim, because you corrected the record over and over again, but these 2 times you said, yeah, I did.
And that's why I ask, when did he start correcting the record? Is it after those, sounds like only 2 times where he said it or agreed to it or responded to a question with a simple yes? Was it only after those 2 times where he started to correct the record, or was it only after people started to question and or say he didn't win a Bronze Star with V device or V for Valor? Like, it'd be interesting to know when the corrections started. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
What do you understand what's going on?
Not paying attention. Trying to sound awesome to another guy.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah. I mean, like, could it be all of those things? Absolutely. Like playing with a dog in
trying
a car.
to sound awesome to another guy that you don't even know.
That I don't even know. For sure.
Isn't it funny how it's like you can build a bridge, you can create hospitals, and then you one goat and you're a goat.
Yeah.
And you yourself.
I have never had any
I don't know about that analogy, eh? Like, well, if that's what you're going to do to one goat, then yeah, that's what you are. Like, what did he say? You can build bridges, you can build hospitals, but you fudge one goat, and then all of a sudden you're just a goat fudger. Well, yeah, you are, if that's what you've done. I don't know if that was a good description by his mate Brian here, in regards to what I guess he was trying to get across. Like, I guess from my perspective of what I'm hearing from Brian about his mate Tim Kennedy, of what he's trying to get across about Tim, is that he's done all these amazing things, but he slips up once and puts his foot in his mouth once or twice, seemingly in regards to claiming to having a Bronze Star with V device for Valor. And all of a sudden he goes from doing all these great things to becoming branded this liar, stolen valor person. I guess that's where he's going. I don't know about that. The goat fudger analogy is probably not the best one, but I understand, I guess, his intent in terms of what he's talking about.
Messy with any animals. It's like, I just want to be really clear.
It's so crazy how I implore.
Well, it's good that he's at least made that clear.
You to at least release that. It's not going to change a thing. Again, people are already commenting. This guy, I get it, but at the end of the day, it was so. Again, that was so puzzling to me, because the first thing I said to you and to Shane, I go, but I saw a compilation of him correcting the record over and over again. Why the did he say he'd won one? It made no sense.
Yeah, and
like, again,
attention to detail.
To some podcast that nobody has ever listened to.
Wikipedia ends up with me with a BSM with V. Then I'm walking on stage. People are introducing me, and they take the wiki bio, and they're like, "Hey, so you have a BSM with V," and you're like on stage in this, a paid speaking engagement, and you're like, "Man, I hate to correct you, like, But no, I have a Bronze Star, and I'm proud to have a Bronze Star. That was for Iraq. An amazing deployment. Was three.
I think you should release. I think you should release it.
No, I'm just gonna
You're just gonna eat a dick.
Yeah,
you have to
put my foot in my mouth. Said something stupid.
That's fair.
By answering a question.
That's fair.
Not paying attention.
You can't one goat.
Is it ever gonna happen again?
Goats.
I don't know.
All right.
Like, am I gonna say something stupid? Absolutely.
We've already covered the embellishment in the number of combat deployment and trips overseas. I mean, I'd like to.
I don't know that that's covered adequately. Again, like they're separate things. He's had 2 deployments. So if he's clarified that part, that's cool. The dozens of combat deployments, that's the part that, I don't know, for whatever reason, he hasn't, or didn't at least. I think he said he was deliberately vague or something about it in the first reaction that I did. He hasn't separated those the way that, well, at least I think should be anyway. Otherwise, I could be rocking around along with a whole bunch of other ex-soldiers that spent a lot more time, more years than I did on the private security sector, and therefore did many more deployments and stuff all over the Middle East and other parts of Africa. I did some in Africa, and majority, like I said, in and out of the Middle East, and mostly in and out of Baghdad. Otherwise, I could be kicking around saying I did bloody, dare I say, hundreds of deployments to combat areas in and around the Middle East. So, yeah, like that part, it's 2 military deployments, combat operations, where he received the Bronze Star for leadership by the sounds of things, which is awesome for one of those deployments. And then he's done a whole bunch of other seemingly super secret stuff.
Say more, but we can't.
Yeah, that's good.
So those are the 2 things also that I forgot to mention, was that I had seen that compilation. So again, it was so confusing. Ranger School.
Yeah.
Ranger School achievement. Did Tim Kennedy misrepresent his Ranger School compilation by publicly claiming honor graduate status, contrary to accounts from investigators and his later admission?
Honor graduates, is that, I guess, like the top student of merit, tops the course, I'm guessing?
Of a complete mistake attributed partly to editing.
Yep. So in Ranger School, when I went, we had 3 awards. You had Distinguished Honor Graduate, you had Honor Graduate for an officer and an NCO, and then you had Leadership Award. So I received the Leadership Award. So I got an awesome tomahawk. I think I gave it to my dad. You know, my team sergeant came, my company commander came. It was awesome when I graduated Ranger School. I'm proud to be a Ranger. And I was one of, I can't say honor graduates. I was one of the extra people that received an award at the end of Ranger School. So when I was writing the book, I said I was an honor graduate. That is inaccurate, as I should have said I was the leadership recipient for that class.
Yeah.
So again, that's what you should have done. If you're writing a book, I've never written a book, but I imagine you've got time to collect your thoughts, go through, double check some things if you have to. But if you've received awards for things, then you know what that award is. You know what the wording of it should be, as he's just described here. So you've got time to go through all of that. If you're claiming or writing that you're an honor graduate, don't be surprised if guys get their back up, and I don't take it as veteran hate, like they're trying to get to the bottom of, were you the man? That's cool, awesome, like you're the honor graduate or whatever it's called, awesome. But don't say that you were if you weren't. You received an award, the leadership award or whatever it is at the time. That's awesome. Like, put that down. But yeah, anyway, what does he say?
This is to you guys, and you military guys. You military guys with all your rankings and all your like citations.
But guys that have been to Ranger School, it's a really big deal. One, to get the leadership award. I'm sure. Even more awesome to get the distinguished honor grad, and to be an honor grad. So but those distinctions are different. And again, being precise with your words.
What is it? Because you have ADHD and you just do a bunch of, you just
million
say a
miles
bunch
a
of
minute,
shit?
not paying attention, not going back and reviewing.
Does he have ADHD? Like, where's that come from? Does Tim Kennedy have ADHD? Is that, I know I haven't followed a whole bunch of Tim Kennedy stuff, even though I had received a whole bunch of requests, which I've still got those. This one's popped up more recently, and I've been sent through this. From what I can tell, this is more recent, just looking at the podcast and the title and how long or how short of time it's been up. I think it's about 24 hours by this stage, or a day or 2 days old. So by the time I'm doing a reaction to this on the back end of receiving it, but like the stuff in which is in here and being spoken about so far seems, I don't know, doesn't seem like the deep stuff that he's gone on and spoken about on the Sean Ryan show, the unliving of women and children and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully we get to that.
Not, in my mind, I'm understanding what I was, as were the people that were in school with me for Ranger School. And
so you said you were an honor graduate,
Yep.
but you were a leadership.
Yeah, I got the leadership award, which is an honor, but it is not the distinguished honor graduate.
So distinguished honor graduate is higher.
Yep, highest honor graduate and leadership
And
award.
you said you were a what?
I got the leadership award.
But you said in the book,
I got the I was an honor graduate.
not distinguished honor graduate,
No.
but an honor graduate. Do you know why you said that?
I
mean,
not
You should know. You should know why you said it. Like I said, you're writing a book. It's written in the book. You've got time and space to think about what it is. Again, I've never written a book, but this is my take on it. If I was going to be sitting down writing a book, I've got all the time in the world, time and space to think about what it is I'm going to be putting into that book or into that manuscript or whatever it is that you're going to be producing. And I know that from the perspective, a lesser perspective, of doing little reference guides and little, like guides or booklets to help people in terms of when they've been preparing for selection, what to look out for and little tips and tricks. And some of that I've grabbed from people that have former serving members and current serving members. And so that stuff has been really helpful as well. But taking time to think about those things of what's going into that, and so there's nothing in there that's untrue. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing in there that hasn't been, or there's nothing in there that has been made up or just fabricated for the sake of it. Granted, it's not a book, right? It's not a autobiography, and because, well, I don't think, maybe one day, but I don't think right now for me that's a space or something that I'm interested in doing. But coming back to here, when this guy Brian is asking Tim, why did you say that? He probably does understand why he said it. He maybe just doesn't want to come out and talk about it. So let's see if he does answer it.
Do you know why you said that? I mean, you had to know that somebody was going to check that out.
I didn't think that I was. I think in my brain I was saying I was one of the honor graduates, which I was, but I wasn't an honor graduate, and I wasn't the distinguished honor graduate. I got the leadership award,
which is one below.
He got an award. He got the third, I suppose. If it goes first, second, third, he got the third. He was on the podium, put it that way, and he got the third highest award. Maybe he is trying to say he was part of the honor graduates and he received one of the awards as part of that honor graduate makeup. Here I am. It almost sounds like I'm trying to defend him right now. But like if I think of here's an example that just comes to mind now. If I think of my basic training in 295 here in NZ, I, for my platoon, won the top recruit for my platoon, but didn't win top recruit for the whole of basic 295. Like each platoon, and I'm pretty sure there were 6 platoons during my basic all arms 295 back in 96, I think. 95, 96, somewhere around there. I think 96. There were at least 6 platoons. And as far as I recall, every platoon had a top recruit for their platoon. So it would be like if I was writing a book, right? And I then wrote down, and I was top recruit for basic all arms 295. It'd be like, no, you weren't, bruz. You got a top recruit for your platoon, 5 platoon at that time. You were not the top recruit for Basic All Arms 295 in 1996 or 95, whenever it was. You know what I mean? So if I was going to be writing something, and if that was something that I was going to put in there, I would be specific, or I would expect the person to be specific. Somebody else on Basic 295, they write a book because they've done some incredible or amazing stuff, and they were in one platoon or any other platoon other than the platoon that I was in for 5, and they say, and I was top recruit for Basic 295 for 3 platoon or whatever. Awesome, accurate, true. If somebody came out from Basic 295 as an example and said, and I was the top recruit for my Basic All Arms 295 for that whole basic intake, then me and the other top recruits for the other platoons would be sitting back and going, no, you weren't, mate. And to be honest, I don't think at that time we had an overall top recruit across the whole basic. It was just made up with the platoons. There was a top recruit for each platoon. I think there was a top shot. I can't remember who that was, and I believe the top shot was for the whole of the basic. Or that wasn't me either, but I'm pretty sure that we had a top shot for the whole of basic. It wasn't a top shot for each platoon. There was top shot for the whole of the basic, and for each of the platoons, there was a top recruit for each of the platoons. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. If you got a leadership award, then you say, received the leadership award. There were 2 other awards. There was the distinguished honor graduate, and there was an honor graduate, and there was a leadership award, and I received the leadership award. I would assume, that's how you would frame it, and that's how you would distinguish those things in your book.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Range school is awesome. Everybody should go. It's a great school.
I don't know how to hold your feet to the fire. I don't know. I'm just okay. So
get to the other questions.
That was you read the book, right? Did you read your own book?
I did. Well, I once it was finished, then
in other words, did you?
What an awesome question. You read the book, right? Did you read your own book? It's like, I don't know if you need to read your own book if you're the author. Do you? You're the one writing it. Or maybe you do. Maybe that's a thing that authors of their books do. Maybe they read their own books. Oh, I suppose, what's her name? The Harry Potter author, the lady. She's sat and done readings of her books, hasn't she? For various groups, I assume young people. What is her name? Bloody anyway. You people know the person I'm talking about. Is that a thing that authors do? They read their own books? There should at least, I would have thought there would at least be some sort of checking before it goes public. Hey, but maybe that's just me. Anyway, I'm going to park this one up here because this is bloody over 30 minutes, me yapping away again. So I appreciate your time and support, as always. Thank you very much. And I will see you on the next installment of this video and this reaction.